Hi, this is Mark Rosen from WCCO TV, and it's my pleasure to introduce my good friend Ron Henderson, the Fitness King, presenting Motivation, one word to help change your life.
Welcome to Motivation. I'm Ron Henderson, aka the Fitness King. Now, how many of you remember the show The Wizard of Oz? And if you watched that show, you know there were a lot of times you saw them dancing, you saw them prancing. Well, today on Motivation, I have the pleasure of having as my guest Holly Bryant, who is the Executive Director of MDC, which is Minnesota Dance Collaborative, and I have the Artistic Director, and she has a lot of titles, okay? Her name is Shelli Manzoline.
Hi.
That's Italian folks for you at home that don't know that, okay? And today we're going to talk about actually what you guys do, how you founded your company. But before we get into that, I want to really get up close and personal. First with you, Holly, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Superior, Wisconsin, up right across the bridge from Duluth.
Okay,
Yes.
and you, Shelli?
Not that far from Holly, actually. I grew up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. So we're going to do a picture for you. There you go. Upper Peninsula. So Ishpeming and Marquette, Michigan.
Right. She sounds like she's auditioning for co-host. That's pretty good. I like that. I like how she did that.
She is.
I do. Okay, so before we get into dance, can you just share one thing with me, and I do this every time on Motivation, actually, Holly.
Okay.
Share one thing that most people don't know about you. Maybe even your parents don't know, and your students maybe don't know. What is there about you that you'd like to share with my audience that nobody actually knows about you?
Are we talking something weird and funny or something serious?
It could be weird, or it could be funny, weird, serious, yes.
Well, one funny thing I would say that Shelli probably doesn't know is I really enjoy eating the inside out of orange peels.
Okay.
I really enjoy it. I think it's tasty and I could eat it every day.
Okay. When we pause for a break, we're going to come back with an orange peel just to see that.
All right, let's see what you do.
Okay, and you, Shelli?
Oh gosh. I guess if we're going to go with a food-related theme, one thing that's really interesting, Holly may know this, my daughter certainly does, but a few people don't. I used to love sweets, love them, and I reached a certain age, and now I don't like them at all, other than the occasional coconut macaroon.
Really? Okay, so you don't love sweets at all anymore. Okay, all right.
Chocolate, no.
Well, both of you don't look like you eat any sweets, actually. You guys look in pretty good shape,
Very kind.
okay?
We are wearing all black.
Exactly.
Exactly. A lot.
Okay, and you're both involved in dance. Let me ask you this first with you, Holly. When did you first start dancing yourself? At what age?
I started dancing around age 3. So
Age
I started,
3?
yes, I started with studio dance, and then I went on. I did high school dance team,
Okay.
did some dancing in college.
But you started at age 3?
Yes,
Okay,
correct.
and you, Shelli, when did you start?
Well, this is a tough one because I've never really I've never taken a lot of dance classes other than in college, but I was in theater since I was very, very young.
Okay.
So I started learning tap and some jazz
Yep.
and all of that just by doing plays and in theater. My biggest dance teacher was my father, and we started dancing when I was like 2 or 3.
Okay.
He was an Italian immigrant, and he did samba, tango, rumba. He was an amazing dancer, so
Okay.
I learned a lot from him.
Good. So how did you guys actually, and who started actually the MDC? How did that start?
So we started in 2014 is when
Okay.
the company was founded, and so Shelli and I are part of that founding group.
Yep.
Myself and a few other local dancers were a part of a different company doing high kick precision dance, and that.
What is high kick precision? What is that?
Like the Rockettes.
Yeah, if you
Okay.
think about the New York City Rockettes, so standing in a straight line, kicking your legs really high, and more like musical theater-esque for show. And,
Yeah.
and
Is that
getting
fun
in there.
doing that? Should we do that? No.
Yes.
It is fun. It's very strenuous, but it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
All right.
So that company closed its doors, and we decided that we wanted to create our own company. And Shelli and I actually had mutual connections. I was teaching at a local studio here, Platinum Dance Center. Her daughter Miranda was attending there, and we also had a mutual connection with a ballet studio, actually
Ballet Arts Academy.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was teaching acting there. My daughter was in her class. So we had these connections. We did a small collaboration, and then once I knew I was going to start up the company, I knew when we did our first show I wanted a storyline. I knew she was a fantastic
Right.
writer and actor, and so I asked her if she was interested in getting a script in place, and that's how we started things.
All right.
Yeah,
And you did the first script?
I do all the scripts, yeah.
Okay.
So, but we
Yeah.
had a meeting at the coffee shop, and I was kind of like, what is this all about? And she said, she wants to they do a holiday show every year, and so she wanted to do this holiday show, and she said she was looking for storyline and didn't have any thoughts. And there was a script that I had been not writing, but sort of concepting in my mind. And so at that point, I threw that storyline at her and said, "What do you think of this?" And she said, "I really like it." And we've gone with it ever since.
Okay, and what was it? What was the
changes.
storyline? The first one that you did?
The storyline follows a family, mainly a young girl named Marie. We're kind of riffing off of the Nutcracker,
Okay.
and kind of what she goes through in different styles of dance and her journey at coming of age as seen through the lens of the holidays or Christmas.
Yep. And what was that like the first time that you guys actually opened up your doors, okay, with the script with that? What was that like for you guys?
Magical.
Magical, terrifying, like all of those things. It was the first time I had performed a ton myself, but I'd never produced or like put on my own company or my own show, and so it was very nerve-wracking. We had a lot of people involved, and it felt like a lot at stake, and a lot of you know, and a lot of our own judgment too, but others of just like, because we had branched off and done our own thing, so it was scary, but it went over amazing.
Well,
yeah.
Okay.
It's great sold-out houses, great reception to the storyline, the dancers, the music, the collaborators. It was a great first opening. I think.
Let me ask you this: did anything go wrong?
Always. There's always like.
Let me tell you, folks. My lovely guests are sitting here like everything went perfect, and I'm like, something had to go wrong.
No, everything we do, there's always a million things that go wrong, and that's part of, like, I think running any kind of business. You got to be able to troubleshoot and be flexible and just be able to bounce back on your feet and kind of roll with things. If you get flustered really quickly and break down, like, it's just not gonna. Like,
Do you remember actually a couple things that went wrong? I'm just curious. That you want to share?
Well,
What happened?
that first year.
Yeah.
what was that?
It,
The bed. Oh yeah.
Oh, so, well, one thing we do is we actually use, because we are on a budget,
Right,
we
yep,
use
yep.
Shelli's daughter's actual bed, because our
it's-
show centers around, like.
And it's a beautiful black four-poster. It's exactly what we want.
Yep.
So I literally take it out of the room. I disassemble it. I take it into a truck, and then I reassemble it because it's this large black four-poster. And the bed has come apart on stage. The bed has come apart in so many ways. Oh yeah, it's been a tragedy.
So, I mean,
Because-
we've had stuff happen on stage, like the bed, like a post falls off the bed in the
Right.
middle of a
During
scene.
the performance,
Yeah,
yeah.
we've had people. I mean, we've had lights not work. We've had people leave the company at the last second,
Yes.
and us having to
Yep.
scramble, and you know, just for various things. It could be injury, illnesses, other stuff going on in their life, and so I think that definitely happened the first year. Finances are always,
Tough.
Right.
an issue too, so it's like we got to round up money, or we scrape stuff together ourselves.
Right.
We figure out how to make the props we need ourselves.
I like
you know,
that. So it's a mixture of theater and dance?
Oh
yes,
yeah.
yes. Yep.
Okay, so the next question is, are you ever going to do the King and I? Because I'd love to do the King and I.
Oh yeah,
I've always
I would
wanted
love
the
to
King
have
and I.
you be the king and
If
I.
I were king.
Love it.
Yes.
If I were king. I've always wanted to do that.
We do original works. However,
Really?
we could certainly write a character in for you.
There you go.
Yeah,
Folks,
Shelli-
folks at home,
yeah.
you heard it. Folks, you heard it.
Yes.
You're my eyewitness.
Yeah, I mean, that's the great thing about what we're doing. We are creating original works. A lot of stuff inspires us. So if
Right.
it was like The King and I
Yes.
or The Nutcracker,
We'll use
it
or
as inspiration.
Whatever.
Right.
Yeah, and then we build our own thing from there, and
Right.
we create characters too based upon the people that we're working with. So
Yes.
if you're working with us, we would create something that fit you.
This is
perfectly.
true. As I'm writing the show, I will not start writing until we have cast. Because once we have cast, I know the talent that I have to work with, and I know the specifics of the
Right.
talent. So we have a wonderful singer. We have a young man in our cast who really can't dance at all, and he will do whatever we tell him to.
Yes.
And now we found out he plays piano gorgeously, and he does a lot of our transition work. So it really depends. If I have 4 boys, there'll be a script that involves.
Right.
If I don't have any, the script changes. So it's really, we work with what we've got, which
Right.
I like to write once I know who I'm working with.
Right.
So now we know we have you.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
things are
And
changing
the folks
right now.
home again, you heard it. Okay?
Yep.
So your direct roles there, what are you responsible for yourself directly, besides being artistic director, Shelli?
Well, I think the one thing that I do a lot of, Holly and I will concept together. We'll sit down and we'll talk about.
Right. Mhm.
And when we first started out, it was sort of like, here's the songs that are going to be in the show, now write a show around it. Now I think we work a little bit differently. We sort of talk together about, hey, I would really love to see this song. Sometimes a choreographer that works with us will say, I'd really like to do this, and then I try to see how to make it fit in. One year, Holly wanted to do a piece called Christmas Unicorn by Sufjan Stevens, and I was like, she's lost her mind. There's no way we can put this into a show.
Often, yeah.
And it ended up being, I've learned now to really just take a deep breath, and if somebody really wants something, there's a reason, because in the end, it will create a challenge for me as I'm writing my script. So I'm the artistic director, I'm the writer, and then I also am the youth company director. So we have a full youth company and a full adult company. They blend very well together now. They used to be very separate. Now we have youth and adult numbers and vice versa.
Because when you guys say MDC, Minnesota Dance Collaborative, okay? You picked that title because of what? Because what do you do distinctively when you say collaborating? Like in what fashions?
Well, I mean, I think we're a collaborative for a lot of reasons. I mean, the types of actual company members we have, the diversity with like the ages, races, the types of dancing that we're doing,
That's
and
a huge
also
one.
that we're including, you know, acting and voice and music, and then also our collaborative spirit with our fellow local artists. So we do a lot of work where we're, you know, partnering with local musicians, painters, aerialists.
And how does that happen?
Martial artists.
How does it happen?
Well, typically, sometimes we just, I mean, one musician, a local musician, Grayson DeWolf, that we've been working with, well, since last fall, we randomly, Shelli lives in the Schmidt Artist Lofts over in St. Paul, and so there's a lot going on there. People live there, but then there's a lot of live art happening.
Yeah,
sometimes.
we had an event where it was the Schmidt Arts Crawl, and we decided we were going to perform our dancers, just to give them an opportunity. We like to be positive role models in the community and do positive things. So we were just performing downstairs, and then there was an artist singing upstairs, and I was like, why aren't we doing this together, you know, instead of splitting our audience? So I went and asked him. He said, oh, I would love it. So we performed with him that day, and from then he said to me, hey, I'm looking for dancers for a music video. And so I ended up doing art direction on that piece. One of our choreographers choreographed all of our dancers. Holly brought in all of our dancers, and we ended up shooting this amazing music video at Can Can Wonderland. It ended up winning like top 5 music videos in the Twin Cities, and so now Grayson performed in our show this last weekend.
Yeah, and we're
Impressive.
performing with him next at a Saints game. So it's like we build those, or we just all, since we have such a large company, we have a lot of connections with the other artists. I mean, one of our leadership team members, her husband is a musician, and he's played in our show. So we just, a lot of people have connections, or we concept and we know, hey, we really need
An aerialist.
Yeah, and so I just source out and ask people.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you just recently had a show. When
Yes.
was that? When was that, and what happened in that show?
So that was last Saturday, June 9th. We had it at the Tech Box in Minneapolis downtown, and the concept of that was our 5th anniversary showcase. So we had 3 larger pieces that we had in the show, which were representative of the different productions that we had done. And then we also offered the opportunity to local choreographers submit and propose work to us, and if we accept it, we'll put this in our showcase. So a way for us to like celebrate our work, and then also offer the opportunity for the emerging and established choreographers to show their work. And so we had 16 different pieces, dance pieces in the show. Shelli wrote some fantastic transitions within those pieces with live music and spoken word. And so it was a night, and then we had a silent auction and food, beverage.
But it was wonderful because we were able to have the choreographers come and stand up and show their work. They all concepted it. They had to send us a piece not only with choreography, but saying, here's the concept for this piece, this is what we'd like to do. And we had some past company members, some present company members, people outside of it. We partnered with Momentum Dance Project. She choreographed a piece, and we even had one of our youth company members submit, and her piece was accepted, and it was her first piece of choreography.
Impressive. Now, are you guys profit or nonprofit?
We are a profit right now. Our goal is to become a nonprofit. Right now we're in the process of doing fiscal sponsorship. So that's like our interim step. And then next step is being a nonprofit.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's our goal.
Good.
I mean,
So-
truly what our company is nonprofit.
Yeah, we
It's
just
just the
haven't-
official.
We haven't
That's why-
officially
That's
done
why I
it.
asked it, because you do a lot of stuff in the community.
Yeah.
How do people hear about you, and And what is your typical? Is there a typical age range, or what is that like? You know,
In the show, or
as far as people getting involved with your company.
Oh.
Because I know you have outreaches. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so within our company, age ranges start at like 10, 11 and go up.
Right.
We have no age cap. So, I mean...
I danced in the show, if that tells you anything.
Yeah, but you're young.
Shelli filled in.
Sure. Folks at home, she's in her prime. We're all in our, I'm in my prime. She's 12.
We're all in our prime, right?
Yeah, so we have no age cap. As far as stuff we do out in the community, all ages are welcome. We do a lot of youth workshops, dance workshops, doing enrichment for there, and that is
Do
all.
you have anything coming up in your workshops?
So we typically do a fall workshop
Okay.
through the St. Paul Community Education. That's usually in the October timeframe, so we'll do that. And then we also have partnered with the YMCA and
Okay.
Edina as well, and so I think we'll be doing something with them later
Okay.
this summer.
And the
too.
fall workshop, how do people hear about that? Do you have a website they can go to?
We do.
Okay,
Yes.
Can you give that out?
Yes, so that is www.mmdancecollaborative.org. That is our website. Also, social media is our biggest way.
Yep.
It's an easy way to
Facebook and
promote.
Instagram.
Yep, so that's at MN Dance Collab. So if you look us up on Facebook and Instagram, we're on there as well.
Good,
too.
good.
Yeah.
Good. What's your next production?
Holiday
What are you
Dream.
thinking of? Okay.
So our next production, unless we throw one in between, I'm kidding.
No, please.
Our
You gonna know the
next,
King and Iron?
yeah, exactly. Our next production is.
I'm gonna keep pushing that one for you.
Yeah, I feel it.
Do.
Is
Do
yeah, we could have been to a two-person show and play all the roles. There you have it. So we're doing Holiday Dream, which is the show that we do each year. It does change every year. The script ages up and follows this character throughout her dance and coming of age journey. This year, we're very lucky. We will be performing at Park Square Theater in St. Paul. So we're
Good
really
place.
excited about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And Holiday Dream is always our bigger production. It's a full blown, it's the full blown production.
Yes.
We do a lot with. We luckily have a lovely costume store stocked up, so we do a lot of kind of glamorous costumes, production. One thing that I think really does make Holiday Dream and all of our shows different, other than that it is a scripted dance show,
Yes.
which is unusual, is the fact that we do all styles. We have tap, jazz, hip-hop, musical theater, point, ballet.
Okay.
Most companies are like, we're a contemporary company,
Sure.
or we're a jazz company,
Right.
or we're a musical theater. We do all styles. And
Really?
so,
who teaches your tap? Who teaches that actually?
We have different choreographers that we
Yeah.
Okay,
use.
really?
Yeah.
Every
Wow.
year.
Wow. So
yeah,
every year, okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we have sometimes our tap choreographers or our choreographers in general are company members. Sometimes they're outside our leadership team members, because we also have directors underneath
Right.
us as well too,
Yes.
and assistant directors. So it's just we usually have a wide array of different choreographers just to get that different flavor of styles and stuff
Right.
too of different people. And
like we have
what
one
do.
person, Maria Fontana, she does one piece, usually just one piece in the show every year, and Maria will come in, and she used to dance with the New York City Ballet, and she's ballet, straight ballet. And so I love that she comes in, because a lot of dance teachers are good at ballet, but I mean, that's her background. That's what she does. So I love to be able to offer that, especially to our youth company.
Sure.
Somebody who that is what they do. That's their,
I love it. So there's a lot of dance companies, especially in Minnesota here. What makes you guys unique? What would you say, Shelli?
I would say one thing that we have actually merged our youth and adult company is a huge thing, and I think originally when we started, we just brought in a group from one company, and we brought them in, and they performed one number. That's how it all started, and the rest of it, we weren't like a mishmash of both. We just brought in one collaborator, as it were, and during that time, I started to realize my daughter was a competitive dancer, and I knew a lot of competitive dancers. I taught at a competitive dance studio. Holly did. One of our goals was to take these really talented competitive dancers throughout the Twin Cities and say, hey, you dance over here at Summit, and you dance at Larkin, and you dance at so-and-so, and and to take them, put them together in a non-competitive environment
Right.
and show them that, hey, you're competing until you're a senior, and then you're going to be dancing alongside these people. Let's do that now. So for me, that's one thing that makes our company very different, is we have dancers from studios all over the Twin Cities that have come together to work on this project. I think the difference of styles is something that makes us, one of the things that makes us most unique, and the fact that we do scripted work. Instead of okay, a dance, the lights go down or dim. Another
Right.
dance, lights. We literally create a full script so that, and one of the goals of that is not only to tell a really unique and entertaining story, but it's to highlight, what the writing tries to do is highlight the differences in those styles of dance and
Right.
how they are different in a person's world.
Right. Let me ask you a personal question, Holly.
Sure.
How has just even being involved in MDC, how has it changed your life, and how has dance in general actually changed your life? What has it done for you?
I mean, dance in general, I think when I started when I was 3, it started like with the passion there, and I started forcing my 3 younger sisters to put on productions at
Forcing
home.
them.
Yes, they will
That's
tell
child
you.
oldest.
That's child abuse.
They will tell you the truth. I forced them to put on productions,
Yeah.
and I think I had that little bug in me then, and I just have had a passion for the arts, and that being, dance, music, everything. It's just an outlet. It's a way of expression, and I work a corporate business job, which is completely different than what I do with MDC. But and that piece of it is helpful for this, but MDC is really a creative outlet for me. And I really draw a lot of inspiration from our community and also the company members around me. I mean, when you see people working so hard for your mission and what you're doing, is very, very motivational. Even when you have all of the challenges that come with running a company and all the different pieces, all the things that are unique about us are also make it very challenging to run and coordinate. But you have these people that are getting, really zero financial gain out of this, but they're doing it for their own passion.
Right. Amen. That's right. Amen. Come on. I love it. I love it. Motivation is about motivating people, and you guys are doing it actually. Even being on today's show, talking about the things that you're doing. You're doing some great things. How do people actually pay for services with you guys? How does that, and is it expensive? If somebody wants to join your company?
No, it's not expensive.
I mean, we really strive to have it be our ultimate goal would be we have a professional company and we can pay everyone.
Yep.
So that's our long-term goal. So right now we try to keep everything as low cost as possible. So what our company members pay us really goes into stuff we're purchasing for them. Earrings, shoes,
Yep,
costumes.
shoes.
I mean, there are performance
They don't pay for
outfits.
costumes.
Yeah.
They don't pay for choreography. They don't pay for studio space. One of the things that is really unique when my youth company members come in and want to talk about, like, we want to do the show, but it's tough. I mean, competitive dance is often upwards of $20,000 a year. So when they come to me and I say, oh, should I throw out a number? It's like a $40 company fee or whatever, whatever it is.
Sure.
And they say, but then what about like this and this and this? And I'm like, no, that's part of our budget, which is why we fundraise, why we do showcases, why we, and then they can't comprehend it because they're like, what, you give so much value. We have had people donate sizable amounts of money, parents, based on the fact that they say, you've been giving
We love what you're doing.
free training,
Yeah.
and we love your
yeah.
mission.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's been very helpful.
And
to
I
us.
love your mission. I wish I would have had the opportunity to actually interview you before you did your thing.
Yeah,
So,
that would have, it was just the
We can always
timing
come
of
back
it.
before holiday
yes,
drinks,
Yeah, we can
yes,
come
yes.
back again.
I'll have you back on. I'll
We'll
surprise
dance.
you.
We'll bring
Yeah,
our
we can
dancers.
bring some dancing.
I don't know if we have a lot of room for that. So.
We can make it
You'd
work.
be amazed.
And you have your daughter here too today, right?
I do, yes.
So tell you what we're going to do. Folks at home, we're going to take a brief commercial break, but we're going to come right back. We're going to actually listen to her daughter just share a little bit about what MDC has meant to her. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, I'm Bob Wilbanks from Ambassadors for Business, here with today's Motivational Minute. I want to talk to you a little bit about time. You know, it's one of the biggest crunches we have out there. I think business equates to busyness. And it's interesting to me that there's only one difference between busyness and business, and that's the I and the Y. When we spend the time doing business the right way with our identity in Him, it all works out. It's business for the glory of God. But when we put ourselves first and we put that Y in there, right? It's about me. That's when we start to get mixed up. And at that point in time, we start spending our time on things that are probably more urgent in nature. You know, I gotta have, instead of what's ultimate. What's ultimate? What's God's will in our lives? If we start thinking about what's ultimate and set out to do that each and every day, it'll make a huge difference in your life.
Welcome back to Motivation. If you just tuned in, I'm Ron Henderson, aka the Fitness King, with my lovely guests, Shelli Manzoline and Holly Bryant, and her daughter. Come on, give your name out.
Miranda Shaughnessy.
Yeah, see, we're trying to make them start being positive early on, okay? Miranda Shaughnessy. So, can you share a little bit about what it's meant for you to be with the company, MDC?
MDC was definitely my intro into theater, which has grown to be like a huge passion for me. It was my first straight play or musical play in general to ever do. I started when I was 10.
10.
I started when I was 10, so I'm 15 now, so I've been doing it for 5 years. And I mean, everything from learning how to memorize a script, to learning how to put intention into your work, and to learning how it all filters into dance instead of just doing a scene and then doing a dance. Like, the storyline really applies, and I think I've been able to apply that to all the work that I've done since then, which has just really been amazing for me.
Right. And how you're talking about memorizing? I memorize language. I love people. Okay. So how do you memorize your lines? Can you share a little bit? How does that work?
I have been told that I have a pretty good memory. For example, before our last show, I was given a 3-page monologue, which is the letter to Santa, which is how every holiday dream starts.
Okay.
A 3-page monologue the day before we opened, and I had it memorized by the day that we opened, which
Okay.
was definitely difficult, but I think I just...
What are your techniques for that?
If you've ever seen The Office, and you know how Michael Scott like memorizes his stuff where he's like... has a trigger in his mind.
Sure.
That's really,
right.
I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but that's really how I do it. It's like one word will lead into the next.
Okay.
Like,
Give us one line from that. Give us one line.
what was the one about? I had one about positive role models in the community and to give back and use our voice as Minnesota artists. So I was thinking it rolls back. So
She
be positive.
does what I do. She stole my stuff. She's seen one of my shows. That's what I do, folks.
Yeah.
Right. Folks at home, unlike Joe Hyatt, they do more than bankruptcy. No. You know the commercial? That's all I do and I do it well. I've used that before. These guys, I mean, you guys do a myriad of things. You're so talented. And I got to just say something. I had the pleasure of meeting Holly. We were shooting a 48-hour film. That's where I met Holly.
Yes.
I was very impressed with her humility and just how she carried herself. And I found out about what you guys do, and I wanted to actually bring you on because I love when people are doing things to help other people, and I love your positiveness with it. Genuine.
Yes.
And it was a pleasure meeting you too, Miranda.
Thank you so
and
much.
Shelli.
Great to meet you.
And you too, Holly.
Thank you.
Folks at
Thanks
home,
for having us.
folks at home, I want to thank you for watching Motivation and all that you do. Stay fit, stay blessed, and stay motivated. We'll see you next time. Motivation. Good job, you guys.
Thank you. I jazz handed it.
You did good. That's
I
good.
did low jazz.